Andrew E Yaw Tchie, a senior researcher in the Research Group for Peace and Conflict and Development. We just got a sense there of what it's like to be in Khartoum right now in the aftermath of that resignation. And you were talking earlier about how the country moves forward. We've just heard there from Mohammed that they want a new prime minister. He also said this was the right step at the wrong time. How does the country move forward? Who could replace Hamdok?
Well, that's going to be the key question right now: is who is seen as a legitimate person in the eyes of the civilians, but also in the military, to be able to bring the country together and create that idea of a unison. I think the transitional government did its best to try and bring these things forward. It did achieve some mild steps in the initial period, but it has struggled overall. I think during particularly the last 18 months to try and move things forward. And the protest, but also what you're seeing now is evident of that. I think what is going to be key right now is to make sure that whoever is selected from the civilian side has the legitimacy from all civilians, and this is not just the Forces for Freedom and Change, but also the union groups, the Sudanese professional associations, and various groups that, as Mohammed has mentioned, are not necessarily coherent. They're split, and these fractions or groups need to be singing from one song sheet. If not, it gives room for the military to stand in and to take power. And so that's what we are seeing. The coup was a manifestation of that. And until that really takes place, it becomes very difficult to move Sudan forward. That being said, it doesn't mean that the civilians and their protesting won't impact or move the discussions and talks forward, because what that does is it places pressure on the military to move things forward, or to have the discussions to find a common ground and a common agreement to move things forward.
Even if they are deadly protests, we saw yesterday just 3 people killed there alone in a single day.
Yes, I mean, ultimately, there needs to be some level of compromise. And it's something that researchers like myself and others have argued, that while we are for the civilians, there needs to be a level of compromise. Now, radical suggestions that have, been floated around might mean, for example, allowing not Hamdok, sorry, allowing the current head of the Sovereign Council and his deputy to maybe or consider not being put up for trial, any future trials. But I think compromises like this might actually help move things forward. I think the hard stance of the civilians needs to be balanced up with the realities, and that is that not necessarily all people from the past may be able to be accountable in terms of international criminal court or some sort of arrest warrants that might take place. So there is a balance to figure, and I don't think academics like myself have the solution fully, but I think it is that full compromise between it's if you think of early South Africa with Nelson Mandela, it's where is the reconciliation, where is the forgiveness, and what are the truth and reconciliations that need to be done between the people and the military or the security forces to move things forward.
And Andrew, I look at these pictures, and we're an international channel. We cover a lot of demonstrations, a lot of protests that have been quelled, almost completely. People do not come out onto the streets anymore because of so much violence, because of so much tear gas and deaths. Could Sudan ever get to that stage, or would, as you said, we'll see, reconciliation as a discussion that moves the country forward to where it wants to go, and return to civilian rule?
I think ultimately, Sudanese are, anyone that knows a Sudanese person knows that Sudanese are very resilient. So protests are likely to continue until the people get what they want and they feel they're satisfied, or their needs and demands are met. I think what is key is that the leadership within the civilian components compromise and are willing to find a healthy balance for the protesters, but also to move Sudan forward. I think if any heavy-handedness that takes place, it's only going to be met with more protests. And, as I said, Sudanese people are very resilient. So this is not something that would just stop overnight because you see a few people that are killed by the military. That's not going to sway the large population, particularly because it has a young population as well. This is something that will continue as well.
Really great to get your analysis and your thoughts there. Andrew E Yaw Tchie speaking to us there live. Thank you.